Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Castillo. I'm the assistant librarian here at Sacred Heart Cathedral. I'm going to go over how to make a great presentation with PowerPoint or Google Slides. I'm going to go over the importance of proofreading and practicing your presentation. I'm also going to go over fonts, colors, images, and tone. But first, I'm going to hand it over to somebody else. He's going to go over some pet peeves, things that are going to annoy your audience if you don't do them well.
That there's some things I hate about PowerPoint, and I figure it's kind of my duty to point them out. So here we go. Here's common PowerPoint mistakes. Number one, people tend to put every word they are going to say on their PowerPoint slides. Although this eliminates the need to memorize your talk, ultimately this makes your slides crowded, wordy, and boring. You will lose your audience's attention before you even reach the bottom of your first slide. Please don't do that anymore, please. Number two, most common, many people do not run spell check. Big mistake. Nothing makes you look stupider than spelling errors. If it's got a red line under it, recheck the spelling. And then finally, I hate this. Avoid excessive bullet pointing, only key points. Too many bullet points, and your key messages will not stand out. Hence the bullet point.
Often people put too many words on the screen because they didn't memorize their talk and they just want to read it off the screen. But when you're turning to the screen, you're turning your back on the audience. You want to just use some simple note cards. Even on the note cards, don't put every single word you want to read. It sounds robotic and it gets boring. So you just want to memorize some bullet points, a few bullet points, not too many. Just have them up on the screen and be able to talk about each one as you go. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to need to memorize your whole presentation word for word. You'll have your bullet points on your cards, on your screen, and you're just going to use that so that you know what order to talk about things, but then you're just going to talk about it based on your actual knowledge. You should be able to demonstrate that you can talk about these things without having to look word for word at your notes, because you're supposed to have practiced and be knowledgeable about these things. We're going to go over font and font size. That way, what you do have on the screen is more effective.
Basically, the font you choose says something about who you are as a person. There's a huge list of fonts, and you choose one, and that says something about you, so be careful the font you choose. For example, if you choose Courier New, it happens to be my favorite, you're probably organized and structured. If you choose Matisse, it means you're artistic, and if you choose Times New Roman, it means you're lazy, apathetic, and unimaginative, and you always use the default. Oh. A lot of Times New Roman people, welcome.
Now, like he just mentioned, there's a huge list of fonts to choose from. I'm going to narrow it down to these three, Verdana, Tahoma, and Arial, because these were all created specifically to be read off of the computer screen, which will make it easier to read off of the projector screen. You want to keep it at minimum to 20-point font right here. Any lower than that, it starts getting difficult to see from the back of the room. And of course, you can go larger, but at least keep it to 20-point font minimum. And of course, just as important as the font is the font color and the background color.
Bad color schemes, not good. Clashing background and font colors can lead to distraction, confusion, headache, nausea, vomiting, and loss of bladder control. I can't stay on that one too long.
Now, when we're reading off of paper, we're used to seeing black on white. But on a computer screen or on the projector screen, that's very harsh on the eyes. So you want to go with the template with a darker background and a lighter font like this one here. That way, it's much easier on the eyes and the words stand out much more. Some people also put a photograph as their background, but it gets difficult to see the words and the image is way too confusing. So do something more like this if you want to use an image. If you're going to use animation, keep it to a minimum. So something like this. How many people live in San Francisco? The animation could reveal the answer. And so you're only using the animation you need. Not too many things flying around. And of course, you always want to add a citation. Give credit where credit is due. And the last thing that you want to think about is tone. Depending on the presentation, you want to think about the audience. Are you trying to inform, persuade, make people laugh? If you're doing an academic presentation, maybe making people laugh is not the priority. You want to have a serious academic tone if you're giving a serious academic presentation. You also want to show enthusiasm with the rise and fall of your voice, with the volume you're projecting so that everyone can hear you, even in the back of the room. And then, of course, movement. You can either move around the room, or if you're sitting, if you're stuck to one spot, you can at least move your hands around a bit. In summation, remember, use font size that people can read even from the back of the room, at least 20-point font. Have a very minimum amount of text and data on the screen. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming. Go for a darker background, a lighter text, an academic tone, and of course, keep the animation to a minimum. Thank you very much.